Well, hey there, it's Jen.
And Elke, welcome back to the Jen and Elke Show. We talk here in this show about the platform Zazzle, which is a print-on-demand platform. And if you're looking for an online business model that works really, really well, please join us for all of our show topics because we talk about the things that matter the most in terms of running it as a business rather than a hobby. And today's episode is so important because Zazzle has given us a gift. They have given us the trending holiday products to make for 2025 so that we can all crush it in Q4, which means Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. Here we go. I made $9,000 in profit from one product listing in those types of scenarios in a Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal. So the profits are pretty high. I know that most people talk about like hundreds of thousands of dollars that they make from print on demand. Please don't listen to those people. They're not really realistic, but if you had 10 products and each of them made you $10,000, it could work. And yeah, we've come close to that actually. Now, we can't make any income claims, so let's just start off with that. But we are running a business here, and we run this business all year long. And some of our top clients sell in the millions every single year because that's what we have done. And because of that, we now teach others. And you get to understand a little bit more about that here in our show today, in terms of we're going to look at the guide, but we're going to give you some business insights so that you're running this not as a hobby, as a business. And that's super important to us because most people get really frustrated once they don't make the money, but it's because they're not running it like a business. So let's look at this from a business standpoint, not just, oh, let's make these products and then we'll get really upset at Zazzle when they don't sell. Okay, so, and Jen wants to bring in a few points initially because I think that's really important because it's not just, here's the guide, I'm going to go make a ton of these products now. We need to think of it as a business owner. What is going to make it profitable for us and for yourself, of course, and also for your business and your time and how you perceive all this happening between now and the time that these sales happen in Q4, which is there's billions and trillions of dollars that get exchanged in that time period. And it's all online, and Zazzle is a big part of that. So let's dive in.
Mm-hmm. So as Elke mentioned, we want to think about this as a business standpoint because you could definitely go on to the holiday guide and look at all the pretty images and see all the different products that Zazzle is promoting for the 2025 holiday guide. But really, what does it work within your own Zazzle store? What are the trending products and also design themes that work for you and your perfect clientele or perfect avatar, which we talk a lot about on this channel as well, figuring out who you're selling to, but really understanding how to use this guide as the business standpoint. The first point is design with buyer intent and the trending designs, and understand what do people want to buy during the holiday season and what is the most important products that you should focus on, because Zazzle offers over 1,500 different product types and also styles within those types. So there's over 2,000 different products that you could make on Zazzle, but not every single product needs to be made for the holiday season. So understanding what does the customer want to buy during this holiday season. Point number two is
just to make a point on that, like that's the whole point, right? We think we're going to get this guide. Go back to point one. We think we're getting this guide and we know what to do, but it's an overwhelmingly large amount of work, and you have to hone in even past that. And that's what we as Zazzle expansion experts help you do when you become part of our coaching and or courses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Point number two is understanding how to create seasonal bestsellers using different product types and also the trending design. So really looking at this holiday guide with an overview, like not that you need to do every single trend that's on this holiday guide, but understanding and taking it with a grain of salt. Like, does this work within my store? And would this actually work within my niche? Or is this even me as an artist standpoint of view, or is it a seller, a shop seller? Does it work with me? And understanding that these seasonal bestsellers can, like Elke mentioned, make you a lot of money. We can never make any income claims, but if you have certain products that actually really take off during those sales seasons like Black Friday and Cyber Monday, there's a lot of really great potential for you to earn money there. And not that you're just putting out 1 million products for Christmas because you think that the more products that you have in your Zazzle store, the more chances that you have of selling. It's not that. You need to be very intentional and understand, how do you create a bestseller and what does that entail?
Yeah, and give me a second here, because that was fast. I know that we want to get through this and get to the guide, but this is why we set up our Design Divas membership, because there's so much of a gap between putting a design out there, even if it's AI generated, and we caution people for doing AI generated work because that's actually still not quite legal, and then the real good bestsellers, like what makes you 10,000 in profit after selling it. Like, that's the difference, right? Like, and you're somewhere in between, and you can't just use the guide and say, I'll just make a product like that and it's going to sell because Zazzle said this was trending. That's the whole point, is that you have to actually get really good at designing. This is an incredibly competitive space. There is a lot of money to be grabbed at this point, let's put it that way. And if you're not meeting the brief and creating those intentional products that have every last little notch of what needs to be ticked off, then you're not going to create a bestseller. And so therefore, you're going to be disappointed unless you really understand the basics and the concepts behind it that create those bestsellers. Okay, next point.
Yes. Point number 3 is, don't post your products too late. Timing is everything. I have a funny story that many of you have probably heard if you've been on our YouTube channel or within our community for a while, is that when I first started out on Zazzle, I was eager, I was enthusiastic, I was very excited to make holiday products, but I actually ended up making them, a couple days before Christmas, December 25th. And I put a lot of time and effort into making these designs. I did my research. I was very excited about them, posted them for sale, and was extremely disappointed that nothing sold because I didn't think about the timing. Obviously, people buy things for Christmas, depending obviously on the product type that you're choosing. But for example, invitations or the holiday cards, people buy those in early October, November, right? Because they're getting prepared to write personal notes in them or to send them out in the mail. And of course, Zazzle also has to ship them to the seller as well, or the buyer, I mean, in terms of what you're selling the person to, right? And so they have to receive it in the mail, then you have to send them out to your family and friends. And so timing is everything. We are at the time of this recording in August, and you want to make sure that it's on your radar. People are already starting to post products for sale that have to do with the holiday season in July and August of that same year. And so you do not want to wait until October, November, or December, like myself, to finally start posting your products for sale, because you'll be very disappointed with the results, because you probably won't make very many sales because you're kind of lost in the mainstream of everything. There are already things that are being promoted. Like, for example, Zazzle released the holiday guide in August. And so you have to have that understanding that timing is everything. Okay. Now.
Yes, and timing is actually incredibly important, and how you post, because you're basically going to post between now and maybe end of September for sure. Keep going with those postings. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
So we have the holiday guide. You can go and look this up on Zazzle. Just search in Google Zazzle 2025 holiday guide. It pops up in the search results. They also have it on their blog and also creator announcement news. So this is an overview of it's actually very much more comprehensive than some of the other guides that we've seen, because they actually give you dates and timelines of prepping. For example, July to September, earlier the better, just like we mentioned. Key promotional period. So the difference between posting your products for sale and then also promoting is that we teach all of our clients who have come into our Profit by Design Academy coaching program or who have been in our community that you make your products first, and then there's a little bit of a time gap, and then you actually promote them. And we always recommend Pinterest, because that's the one go-to. It is a search engine, not like social media. That's instant gratification, and it's searchable. And plus, people on Pinterest are going to look for things to buy. They're inspired for ideas, and they're looking for things to purchase. So that's where you would like to promote your products. And then obviously gifting period is between November 10th and December 20th. That really doesn't have very much to do with the seller aspect of things. It's just more for an insight into the buying habits of customers. Okay. So
hold on a second, like you're going really fast through this. What I wanted to say first is we used to do this for our clients until Zazzle got wise and now realizes how much benefit there is for this as a whole. So you're getting an incredible amount of value thanks to Zazzle. And so now we get to do even more than just teach the basics and our own guests, because there's people that have worked on this guide for several months probably and figured out trends, etc. But don't underestimate your own Zazzle sense and your own e-commerce sense. So before we get into all these details, make sure you also remember that you are the one that's deciding where you want to tap in. And that relates to those 3 points we made, because we want to make it perceivable, passive, profitable, which is our business framework. And it really needs to be that before you just dump everything into your store that is in this guide, because it's now so comprehensive. You could be doing this for months and then be very frustrated later if you didn't actually make a sale.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And so it outlines here on the guide the best-selling practices. So like Elke mentioned, with the timing periods, we taught our clients in our PDA coaching program previous to when Zazzle decided to make this sort of public news. We also taught them these sorts of things and teach them still continuously to this day about what makes a product popular, or why is it intentional, and very much so on the selling point, especially with the photo products, choosing the right photos for your mock-ups or your templates, because obviously the customer is going to replace these photos with their own. However, this is a selling standpoint. This is all about marketing, right? The really selling feature of this product, if you strip it away from, for example, the photos that are being shown there, is that it has a really cute bow frame, has a bow here in the middle, and it's creating a frame. And then it has this really nice script on the side that says Merry Christmas. But the reason why it looks so pretty is because they've chosen these really cute photos that correlate and correspond also with the color theme of that beige sort of background on that one square that's filled in with the words Merry Christmas. So you can see that the tones of the colors of the clothing that they're wearing and the background, it's very those neutral muted brown colors. And so it works really well with this product. If you were to choose different photos that were black and white, or that had a lot of red colors in them, or were very jarring, it would not sell as well, because the photos are key, especially with those simplistic designs that are photo-based templates, just like this one here too. This grouping of this merry and bright, they've chosen these photos that give you a sense of feeling of that heartwarming, family oriented or newlywed oriented product. And the photos are literally selling the product, even though they're not actually going to be purchased with that photo on them. The second part here says themed of a variety of products and collections. So you can see here there's an invitation, then there's an ornament. I'm not too sure exactly what product this is right now, but it's a, kind of hover over it. We've got a Christmas photo card in a different size there. And all three of those products, even though they're different products, they go together in a themed collection. So that's another practice, is to cross-sell. We teach that to our clients all the time, and we tell them to create collections so that you can possibly have multiple sales based on a certain theme. The next one here is easy edit templates. We've actually done a video to review the templates, I'm pretty sure. We teach our clients how to do masks and also use the design tool in a different way. Zazzle has recently introduced things called these drag and drop templates, kind of like Canva, if you use that platform, where it's a photo grid and you can just drag and drop your photos in there. And Zazzle have already done all of the measurements for you, so you don't have to worry about if your photos are too close to each other, or if you've done the spacing incorrectly, if you're creating your own grids on the Zazzle design tool. So these are really easy to use, drag and drop. I would also just recommend that you test it out first, because there are some products and also photos that you cannot manipulate very much because you're just dragging and dropping it. If you're creating your own frames, it's a little bit easier to manipulate the size and the shape and where your photo actually is placed based on the center of it. Then we offer a variety of product options. So it's funny because they have that on the guide with that title. However, they're showcasing yet again an invitation, but you want to do different card options. Not only are there different options for cards, so foil, the flat, the folded, but there are also different opportunities for the different edges of the card, so scalloped and rounded. Plus, in addition to that, we always like to tell you that invitations and holiday cards are not the only things that sell during the holiday season. So be open-minded to different product types. For example, like this one over here, the gift tag. There's ornaments, there's address labels, there's gift wrapping paper. This guide is very much heavily focused on the holiday cards. However, that's not the only money-making opportunity for the holiday season. Of course, you want to make sure that your product is listed with an optimal and optimized keywords list. So right here, it actually gives you a really nice example of what you could potentially have as keywords. This is clearly for some sort of boho Christmas card. So I wouldn't say copy this directly and think that you're going to make sales if you use exactly these keywords. But we have always told our clients in our PDA coaching program and in our community to use short keywords as well as long tail keywords, and to make sure you're describing your product as best as possible so that somebody can search for your item. If you have the most beautiful product that's designed out there, but you don't list it properly with titles and tags, then unfortunately no one is going to find it, because Zazzle is, at the end of the day, a search engine, and you're creating an SEO, an SEO page for it when you're putting in those keywords. Promote your products on Instagram, on Pinterest. This is an Instagram picture. However, Instagram is instantaneous. Like I mentioned with social media, we always recommend Pinterest because it's a search engine and it is timeless. Elke and I still make referrals on certain products that we posted posted on Zazzle and then also promoted on Pinterest many years ago, and those pins still exist and we're getting referrals to this day. Okay. Now we get into the trends defining the season. Like I said at the beginning of this video, if one of these trends doesn't work for you, or if it's very much over the top, we've done reviews on the birthday guides and also the graduation guides that Zazzle releases, and some of the themes and trends that they have mentioned in their guides are very niched down, and they are sort of, let's call it trending, but they're not a huge trend. So take it with a grain of salt. It doesn't mean that you need to make every single one of these themes in your store. The first one that we have seen since the summer, actually, and the beginning of spring, when the wedding season came out and also graduation season, was this hand-drawn it's almost like the Parisian, sort of that French style, picnic style, handwritten lettering, and also pictures, like little graphics here. So that theme is obviously following suit and going through to the holiday season. So you can see here, they've got images that not only depict partying. We've got champagne glasses and the champagne bottle, but then now, in addition to the graphics that you potentially used for your wedding or graduation themed products, we've got little Christmas figures here and there. So that's really cute. Obviously, the color schemes as well. If you were looking at that hand-drawn theme throughout the wedding season and graduation season, there's a certain color scheme to them. There's this pink and also red combination. Then there's a blue and white combination. There's also a sage green and white combination as well. So even though it has the hand-drawn images, the color scheme is very important as well. Vintage Christmas. They just have a picture here, obviously from a blog. Zazzle takes inspiration from external blogs as well, rather than only just showcasing products from their website. So think the plaid patterns, think, rustic cottage Christmas, the vintage Christmas with, the old school carols and all of that stuff. Then we've got Togetherness and Reimagined. This one's a new one that I'm going to read it out. So holiday hosting is getting more personal and more intentional. This season, it's not just about gathering, it's about creating a mood, or curating mood, a theme and a full experience. So intimate dinner parties taking center stage. So this isn't really a theme per se on the graphic design element of it. It's just more so the opportunity for people to get together. And so think more so of what products you could make. This is more of a product type and also themed of gatherings rather than a graphic type theme like we've seen with the hand-drawn scribble. Now we're getting into retro. Retro has also been a theme that has been consistent through 2025. We saw it first with birthdays and graduations, and now it's coming into Christmas. It's quite fun. So you have to think about the specific type of fonts that you're using. Be very intentional about finding those fonts. Zazzle, I don't know yet. They have similar ones, but they don't specifically have like a retro font. But this is the selling point of the retro theme is more so the actual font that you're using. So you would potentially have to go and purchase a font with a copyright license so that you can post that for sale on Zazzle. Each platform where you buy fonts from, they have different license agreements. So just make sure you're very specific about researching that to make sure that you are abiding by copyright rules and also finding the proper font that fits that retro feel to it. And then, of course, all the retro patterns in the background there. Then the next one is personalized for who they love. So we've got some custom photo pictures with different products. So we've got a t-shirt, some socks, a mug, and wrapping paper. All of them have photos of people or pets on it. And so this is a little fun, twist to get the gift giving aspect of Christmas, not only just the holiday cards. The last one here is happiness is homemade. I've seen so many viral TikTok videos about people making sourdough bread and becoming a little bit more of a homemaker and more natural, using natural ingredients and that home style lifestyle of going back to the roots. And so this is an opportunity for you to get in on that sort of trend. So sourdough starters to infuse cocktail kits. DIY gifting is in full swing. So think about above and beyond, outside of the box, not just holiday cards, but how can you add this aspect of homemade, the homemade trend to your repertoire of products on Zazzle. Okay, now we're getting into the holiday card trends. So we have seen most of these and some of these throughout the year. Arches definitely were a big thing that have popped up in recent months and also last year. And also the hand-drawn elements, as well as that coquette, sort of that bow influenced by the Bridgerton show. And so here you can see we've got elements of some of them and most of them actually here. Arches are present in the 3 here on the top. And then we also have the greenery. Watercolor is always and will be probably a staple for many years to come. The greenery watercolor and much more of the natural side of things rather than the typical Christmas with the Santa Claus and the snowmen. This is where holly and the greenery and pine come in to add that element to your card. Okay. This is a fun one here, year in a review. This is something new that I've seen. I know that when people write their holiday cards, more or less, sometimes we did this way back when my mom was creating holiday cards for our family, is give a story or an overview of what happened throughout that year. And this is a cute take on it where they're putting pictures for each month to describe some monumental events that have happened throughout the year. And then we've got bows, like I mentioned, that coquette, the Bridgerton style, and also just very cool elements playing with arches and shapes as well. This one is very neat. It's got different shapes in there and, adds a little bit of an element, not very much, but a little bit of an element of that sort of geometrical retro type feel to it as well. Okay. And then you can see that this is also that retro font. So they're very much overlapping in a lot of things. So these are the main elements that you want to consider when you're creating your products and posting your holiday cards for sale. The one
before we go a little bit further, because there's quite a lot here and we should probably wrap up soon too, but don't copy. These are not just examples that Zazzle pulled from somewhere. These are actual designers, indie designers like Jen and I, who've had their designs showcased here as examples. And these people are trying to sell those products, and they're not for you to copy exactly.
Yeah.
Bring your own spin to it based on the concept of the design, but not have don't just change some small little thing and go like, I made a new design. That's not true.
Yeah. No, we definitely want to make sure that everyone understands that this guide has been put out here for people for inspiration, but not to copy and not to make another version slightly different than this one and then post it for sale. Okay. The next part that we have here are one photo cards. So photo cards have been popular throughout many, many years on Zazzle. My first bestseller was a wedding photo card, a save the date card, and also a holiday photo card. And so this is where the script really takes place, or the fonts really take place of what is being said on the card to have that selling feature and that selling point. Merry and bright has always been a big one, playing on those words and doing different versions using that sort of saying. Newspaper is a cool one that has come up in recent years, where this one features a newlywed post newspaper, where obviously they got married that year and they wanted to announce it. But you can do the same thing with that with a year in review as well. Gingham and plaid, coming back to sort of more the traditional Christmas patterns there. Then we have weddings. Weddings are always a big one. Married and merry. This one says merrily married, playing on the words of the word married or newlyweds, and having a simple design based on the fact that this is their first Christmas being together as a newlywed couple, irrespective of the fact of maybe they got married in the wintertime, or maybe they got married in the previous months, and this is now how they are celebrating their Christmas together or holiday season. Baby, once again, always a staple. Babies are born every single day of the year, and so you want to also include some baby announcements if you feel the need to, right? The foil cards, a big one, definitely something that people are utilizing more often than not now. Zazzle introduced these a couple years ago, and they're becoming quite popular, especially for the holiday season, because people like to splurge and spend a little bit more money on their invitations or their holiday cards because it is a special season. Floral.
And Zazzle has silver, bronze, and gold.
Yep.
So the bronze is like a rose gold. And we ordered some, and they're really lovely, especially if you have a font that's a thicker font style, so that you get more foil.
Yeah.
And it's raised, and it hasn't really in any way faded. It's been on your fridge for the whole year, right?
Yeah. I ordered them last year in Christmas, and I mean, it is August, but I got them in November of last year, and they're really nice and they look beautiful. Like Elke mentioned, the foil ones are a little bit finicky because you can definitely use a thinner font like this product here, but she mentioned you can get more bang for your buck, let's say, it for the person who's buying it if you're using a thicker font, because then you get more foil rather than thinner foil.
Yep.
The next one here is floral. Florals have always been a big part of, Christmas and weddings and birthdays, right? Just really depends on the floral pattern. We've seen wildflower come up this past year. This one here is a little bit more of a traditional older floral that we haven't really seen too often, with the peonies and the, what else is in there? The red flowers there, but there is aspects of the holly and pine.
Or some sort of tropical thing. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
it's a hit or miss. So.
Yeah, so you have to be very specific with your floral patterns, because if they don't meet the mark, then unfortunately you're not going to potentially sell. Stripes and checkered, that's it's sort of playing on sort of the gingham, but stripes and checkered is something that is definitely popping up. This is a cute little collage here. The color blue, which I don't know why they've put this in here, but obviously, it's a trend that somehow has come to fruition. And that's not even really a blue color. It's more of a turquoise teal color. So I would say, they're just playing on the fact that it's a sense of calm and optimism, like what the color blue means. Once again, the scribble hand drawn, we've seen that already. They're using different frames and frames and graphics and fonts. Then non-photo, these ones here are traditionally, the ones that you would potentially buy in a store. We do see some popularity with the non-photo ones, but because Zazzle is majorly a website where people can customize their own things and make it their own, photos definitely sell more so than the non-photos do. But you have to be very specific then with the attractiveness of your graphic and making it look very nice if you're doing a non-photo one, because that's the selling point. Animals, this is a new one. Birds, polar bears, festive cats, penguins. Once again, this is very much a very fun, sort of cute trend, but it has to be very specific to the person who's buying it, right? If I don't enjoy cats, or I'm not a cat person, then I would, me personally, I wouldn't particularly buy a cat related Christmas card, but you can definitely think about who your perfect customer is and if that would apply to them. Funny cards, these were also like they're always there. They've always been there. It's more for the quirky type of family that likes to play jokes and have more fun. And it's a little bit less serious, obviously, and playful. You can play around with that. Pets, once again, so pictures of animals in the family. This is where I would recommend these two ones are completely different, animals and pets. This is where you would put in a template to make sure that the person could switch the photo out for their own, because although this puppy is very, very cute, I don't own that puppy, and I would not particularly buy it if it was just that selling point. So make sure that you make those as templates. So then going to the card collection essentials. So like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and we are going to wrap up soon because it's a long one, but cards are not everything on Zazzle. There are other products that sell during the holiday season. Stationery is one grouping of products. So cards and address labels and envelopes and all the things that go along with sending out the holiday cards. And then the other aspect of it, which they don't actually dive too much into, is creating the gift aspect of things. So the gift tags, the wrapping paper, the gift bags, all of the stuff that you would do to package the things. And then the third aspect of everything is, for Christmas anyway, is the gift aspect of it. So creating the things that will be purchased as gifts. So your photo template, mugs and blankets and, footballs and all of those things that could be potentially a gift for somebody. So we've got self-inking stamps, address labels, stickers, wax seals, envelopes, and then gift tags and wrapping paper. Very important. And this is interesting because it was primarily and dominantly all about Christmas and the holiday season of around Christmas time, even if you don't celebrate Christmas. But now they've thrown in Halloween things. I always like to give people a grain of salt on Halloween just because it's a very limited event and not everybody celebrates Halloween and not everybody has a party for Halloween or does Halloween. And so if you're really focusing in on doing Halloween things, be very intentional with the products that you're posting, just because it doesn't sell as much and is in long duration as the Christmas time or Christmas period does. But we've got Halloween tradition of you've been booed. Never heard of that before. Halloween parties, birthday parties, fall baby showers is a big one, because a lot of babies get born obviously in the fall time / Christmas time. And so the fall baby shower theme is something to look into, definitely. Friendsgiving, we talk and have done a video, which you'll come and probably see it later on after watching this video, about Thanksgiving invitations and cards that you should create. So Thanksgiving is a big one, especially in the United States. In Canada, we celebrate Thanksgiving in October. In the States, it's a lot more over the top than what we do in Ontario, in Canada. And it's a lot more celebration, so you can definitely dive into Thanksgiving things. Then we've got bar signs, which is interesting because we were on different hosting events and trends, I guess, different things to do and host your party. So bar signs is a different product. Menus, the favorite things, party trend. That's something like, ugly sweater party type thing, I guess. Then we've got winter baby showers. Excuse me, it just came out of nowhere. Winter baby showers and matches, holiday themed birthdays. The white elephant, not too sure really what that is. It hasn't been something that's been part of my realm and reality, but gift exchange parties. Then we've got cooking and baking parties, so all the different packaging, holiday themed parties. Then we've got candles and New Year's themes. So there's a lot of things that are obviously mismatched here, different product types and also different themed parties that you can look at. Then we've got standout gift ideas and trends. So notebook, apparel, vacation designs, wrapping paper, games, first baby's Christmas, DIY gifts, photo products. You can go through all of these because these are now just random products that they've chosen for them to be on your radar. Not everything is holiday themed, like particularly ornaments. And we've got other products like blankets as a gift that they could be given to somebody during the Christmas season. Gift tags, calendars are a big one, especially because people are gifting calendars for the new year to come. Playing cards, towels, and aprons. Okay. Going through here, new products that Zazzle has offered. We've talked about these multiple times in different videos that we've recorded. They have foil napkins, which is very cool. Then you've got acrylic signs, acrylic invitations, then tri-blend t-shirts, arch invitations, new paper cup sizes, roasted coffee, which is interesting. This is a new one that's kind of on my radar now. And then snow globes. And then here you can read on your own time all of the different popular keywords. This is obviously just an example. It doesn't mean that if you use all of these, then you will sell well. It also doesn't mean that when you post a product for sale that you should use mom, dad, woman, men, girlfriend, all in one keywords for one product, because that's considered spamming. So you want to make sure that your keywords are on point for the proper product and how you're trying to describe it. And then these are the other events other than Christmas that people celebrate. So you can do some intentional research on how you can get into each one of these events if you feel the need to do so. Not everyone, every one of these is more popular than the other. The holiday season of the traditional Christmas is the biggest one. However, there are other, opportunities to celebrate like Hanukkah and Diwali and Thanksgiving that you can definitely get into if that works with your store and your perfect avatar.
Whew! She did it. You're gonna have to watch this video on a slower speed because Jen is so good, but so fast because there's a lot. But that's why we preface this with don't overwhelm yourself. Pick and choose what aligns for you. And basically, Zazzle just told you to do everything. Even though that they gave us some hints, a lot of things are in there and you can't focus on all of those and do a really good job to create those bestsellers. Really, you need like I can't say how many products you have to make, but focus on trying to create 1 or 2 bestsellers and you might have a $10,000 or $20,000 months. Some of our clients have had $30,000 a month. That's what the Zazzle payout is. And then also some of our top selling clients have had like 8,000 records of sales within the month of November or December. And because of that, we just want to throw those numbers out there to give you some thing to look forward to or to aspire to, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to do that. It could also be a big goose egg, right? So it's such a competitive quarter. We call it Q4, and it's like the big Black Friday, Cyber Monday push. And if you're like, even before I started Zazzle, I knew that the sales were going on, but I never understood the potential and also the stress and the and what you need to do to be part of that. And so give yourself some time. And if this is your first time doing this for this year, then be happy with whatever happens. Like whether you just posted products so you were part of the opportunity to get a sale, or if you're already really doing well and every year you get a huge cash influx in the last quarter, then either one of those, best of luck for that to happen again, because I had really good cash influxes about 3-4 years in a row. And then all of a sudden I had a very bad $0, like was about a third of what I was used to. And it taught me a really valuable lesson that you really need to have a business that consistently makes money every single month. And that's what we teach in our Profit by Design Academy. We think of the Q4 as our bonus money for whatever you want to do is extra, but we don't, as business owners, rely on that as our only sale. So that's my push and a little bit of information at the end of this, if you're still watching. So please just take that with a grain of salt. Best of luck. Happy and let's do our part of creating unique, intentional products that are going to create bestsellers for you.
Yes. And that's where I want to just really quickly wrap up by saying, if you'd like to join our Design Divas, it is a membership where you can come in and learn with me and have critiques on your Zazzle products, where we go in and you submit a design, and we have 2 calls per month, one on the first and third Wednesday of each month, and it's for an hour. And what you do is you promote or post your product in a group chat for me to discuss, and then we review your product online with the group, and we give you tips and advice on how to design more and better with intention, and also figure out if that product is fits that design or how you can better it. I will play around with your design, and anything that I do with your design to give you the advice to make it hopefully better, you can use that and post the version that I created for sale to potentially help you increase your sales. So many people they absolutely love it. Everybody who is in the group gets a review on that call within the time period, and everyone has really benefited from learning how to design more with intention. So the link to join the Design Divas is in the description of this video. We would love to have you in that community, and let's get designing together.
Become a diva with
Yes.
us.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.